Hey, it's 5:32. We're back on schedule. It's the Monday Live Show with a couple of special guests. What's up, Dave?
How you doing? Right on time.
Dude, I've been so ill. This is the most upright, most energy I've had in about 10 days. But before we get to my illness and my wonderful recovery, let's introduce a special guest. If you paid attention this weekend, there was so much hubbub. There was so much kerfuffle about what happened this weekend in Manchester. I said, we got to get somebody on who was there. So Michael is joining us all the way from Ireland. What city are you in, Michael?
Well, I'm Irish, but I'm living in the UK. I'm based in Liverpool.
Okay, you tricked me. You lied.
Yeah. So I'm only 40 minutes from Manchester, so I'm not that far away.
All right. And this was how many HYROX had you done before this?
30 HYROXs. That was my 31st HYROX so far.
All right. So you come in prepared. You come in with plenty of experience. Your first event was which city and year?
Birmingham, the very first one in the UK with about 500 people. And
you're the perfect guy then, Michael. You're the perfect guy. So
I've been on the course by myself. I know what it's like.
So tell us about your experience this weekend, Michael. Why are you on today?
It was a mess from the start to finish. You look at social media. I'm only speaking on behalf of social media. I'm not speaking. It's not my opinion. All you've got to do is go to look some other podcasts and look at the comments, and that's going to say enough of what actually happened. Obviously, the drama is all going to come down to the timing situation. There was no emails to say what time we're starting at. There was no way of getting the data to tell us who's on where, just literally what's happening. And then there was I don't know if I can swear on here, but there was not a link. There was a shitty link sent out amongst the community. So thankfully the HYROX community is strong and everyone knows each other. So there was a shitty link sent out that didn't make any sense. And if you put your name in, all of a sudden on the Thursday, now with the relay was on the Friday night. So, and people were finding out, right, what are we going to do? Or when are we going to do? So it wasn't the best start in the world. We couldn't see when our competitors, that's another thing, we couldn't see who we were competing against, which makes it quite fun. So everyone was just a little bit blind. Then it go into the Friday night, the relays, they didn't open the doors quickly enough. I don't know, was that a venue issue? Which meant you couldn't warm up. You were running into a relay cold. Again, it's all right for someone like me because I've done so many, I know the script. But for a lot of people, it's their first ever attempt. They're just normal people having a go for the first time. They're being rushed through the process.
Okay, so what time were the doors supposed to open?
Well, 5 o'clock, I think it was.
Okay, for what time, for what race? What time was the first race?
Relay.
Okay, and so when did they let you guys in?
About 6 o'clock it was.
Okay, and when people were they saying why? Were you asking what's the holdup?
No, there was just normal, no communication, So there was just huge queues outside. So it was around 6 o'clock on that, yeah.
Okay.
So it just was messy from start, from the very, very beginning. And then it's just, as I said, the timing situation was just, I don't understand. In something in the middle of a season.
Okay, so we all were trying to figure out what was going on with the timing as well. And so when it wasn't appearing as it normally was appearing, even on the Friday, were you asking around? Were you finding people with HYROX shirts like, hey, why does it look different? Is it going to look like it normally does? Is it going to be fixed this weekend? What was the word?
The feedback, they didn't know themselves. They didn't know why showing.
They didn't know.
No. You know, so people didn't know. I think the biggest thing that was, and this happened throughout the weekend, is that the poor guys that were on podiums, and me, I was one of them. One guy waited 4 hours for a podium, right? And he wasn't even on the podium. It's to me, it's just embarrassing, and I just felt so bad for him. You know, I found out, I walked up with my wife and son from the cafe area, and I met the guy who actually won it. Now on the website, I'm still won my 44 category pro. I'm still the winner, but actually Dan had won. But I found out 60 seconds before I stood on stage to get my flag that I was second, and then a good friend of mine, Nuno, thought he was in third, and he was now in fourth.
But I'm saying, so when you're at the awards ceremony and you're saying, look, that's not what the leaderboard says, what was their answer?
There's an issue that sometimes didn't go through the system. You're getting up there and you didn't know. So, for example, a really good athlete who you're going to hear a lot about is Lewis Overhand, and his name was not on the leaderboard, and he was second overall. So the guy in third place thought he was in third, but he actually wasn't in third place because Lewis had won. So there's just, no one knows why some were in, some were out. And that's not just my little experience. That happened across the weekend. That wasn't just me. You know, so there was a big problem running something crucial maybe in that event. Yeah.
Almost, where do you begin?
I don't know what to describe it, you know, so because, you know, it happened in the mixed doubles. It happened across the board. I've got this Instagram messages to prove it. It's madness what happened. It's just very confusing.
Yeah, and I typically you'll see in the UK HXR group or on a Rocks Live post after the event, you know, all the good and bad, and people will kind of say, oh, this one, there was a little congestion, or this one, the bathrooms were in a bad place, and here's the good and the bad. And yeah, I've never seen kind of 98% negative comments. And when I first saw that they changed the output, what it looked like to us, I was under the assumption that, well, certainly on site, there's like some correct leaderboards and they're going to do awards correct. Like, and I didn't realize we were all looking at the same thing.
I'm still the winner. Makes no
sense. And, you know, luckily for me, I'm going to be at HYROX in a couple days here in Las Vegas. And I did reach out. When I have questions about sport, I usually reach out to Mo and Mintra. I sent emails, I sent WhatsApp. I didn't hear back. I don't always.
I imagine they're flooded pretty hard right now.
Well, usually I can still have communication with them. Something like, we'll have something later this week is a lot of times what they'll say. Sometimes we'll actually talk on the phone. Sometimes it'll just be, hey, we'll update you later, but nothing. So I guess I want to jump straight to the rumors, which I think are incorrect. The place a lot of people have gone is to say, well, they're hiding the information on purpose and they're going to start charging us for it. I do not believe that to be true. I don't think HYROX is that short-sighted. Yes, a lot of people, including myself, scrape their data and use it for news, for information. People use it for training. That's all good for their ecosystem. They don't want to not have that information be public. I think I shared somebody's comment in my story that said, sounds like they got something and got a minimal viable product ready and just went with it rather than waiting till the bugs were out. That's my thought. What do you think, Dave?
Well, I mean, you bring up the main question. The main question is why? why, when the system seemed to work well, and that, like you say, we've all derived stats and figures and numbers, and we all of us geek out on it, you know, to the point where we're watching live streams and we have all the splits going on at the same time. So the question becomes why, and that's why people come up with the idea, well, they're going to bring it out and charge for it. I don't necessarily think that's true either, but I don't have a proper explanation of why, other than my guess would be they have taken it in-house, like they used to go with a company called Mika, if I'm not mistaken, and that they've taken it in-house as a cost savings or optimizing the flow, optimizing costs. But I had heard that they have been working on this for a year. So like this was, from what I've heard, it wasn't just thrown out there. They have been working on it for a year, but clearly not long enough. Like, because it's crazy. So yeah, I don't think it's, and I really hope it's not to try to create a new cash flow through selling the information, because man, that has been such a huge part of why they have built what they built. It would be shooting themselves in the foot, right? Like there's no way people would, I mean, I myself, right? I geek out on the information, but if you start charging me for it, no, I'm not gonna pay for that, you know, and it'll cause less interest. So hopefully that's not the case. Yeah, it just, I mean, there's so much to unpack on what Michael said there, but just from your question there, yeah, I don't think that they're planning to charge for it. I hope they're not. I am hoping that this was just a colossal clusterfuck and just everything went wrong all at once, and that they can iron it out, because the other option just sounds stupid, like very bad business practice.
Well, I think even the idea of it being like internal to save money, you're still using someone else's software. Like at one point, you know, I'm sure the first year of Spartan, they brought in like whatever local timing company. And then at some point they're like, okay, we've got to hire people who can do this week in, week out, but it's still not Spartan's tech. It's built on another platform, which then goes out to Race Result or whatever, these easy places for people to look at it. And so I think, you know, even in Toronto, I had pointed out that the people were wearing Mika shirts that I was talking to, but they were basically hired, looks like that day or locally or whatever. So again, some form of long-term cost savings, they still had to be, it's sitting on somebody's tech. So I don't, you mean HYROX is not going to just decide to like have a what do you call it? A manufacturing plant that makes timing mats. So I'm not sure either. But they're also not the type to ever publicly say, by the way, we're working on it and here's the fix. They just wait until the fix happens and then they tell you. So I just hope it's by this weekend.
Well, yeah, you've got a huge major coming in. Isn't it like 4 events next weekend as well? Like there's multiple events on the weekend, not just a major.
Well, right. I mean, yeah.
So
I mean,
you're going to have a lot of bugs to iron out in a span of whatever 6 days.
Right.
And that is frightening. I think so. My question, I'll ask you, Michael, what's your why? Why do you think they do this?
I think it's probably to save money. I think it has to be financial. That's what I think. Because why would you change a system that's so flawless, so easy to navigate from the user perspective? I just don't understand why else you would do something so silly, and why you would do it in the middle of a season. Like if it was so they may have to pay them a yearly subscription. Okay, cool. Pay them a yearly subscription. As a company, if it was my company, I would pay them and then get rid of it after Chicago. Get rid of it after the Worlds and then run the new system. That's just way I would look at it. I'm just baffled at how poor the weekend was. I think maybe you had to be in it to see how bad it was, because it was just mind-blowing.
I'm with Matt. Like I read through the comments on posts and stuff, and I've never seen such chaos. Such universal reaction, especially with HYROX, because even when, and I've been the first one to jump on and say I'm the guy that was saying I hated New York, and everybody else is like, it was fantastic. No. So I'm the guy that usually complains, and I've never seen a situation like this where everybody was just boom. And I feel for HYROX in this one because maybe some of it was out of their control and they just got hit by a lot of it. It clearly seemingly like part of it was. Like, I look at too, because I've been confused, just trying to interface, trying to get results from the weekend, trying to figure who's where, who's what happened, and even just trying to use the new system is baffling, and it's not giving me stuff I want to see. Like, I feel for you guys. If you weren't in the top 3 in age group, how would you even know?
Right. You can look up your time if you type in your name.
Yeah,
but even then, it doesn't tell you how you did.
No, you could be fourth, or you could be 404th.
Yeah, and again, I know that's part of the appeal of the race. Is so many people is comparing yourself to a previous time, comparing yourself to everybody else, even people who aren't ready to make it to Worlds. Just like, hey, I'm 15th this time in my age group. I was in the 30th last time. I want to talk about another piece of technology that we haven't mentioned though yet, and that is the wall balls. So, Michael, what was your experience with the wall balls?
Fantastic. So I just got to tell the truth. That was just so flawless, in my opinion. Again, you'll see the comments. My theory is if people had to do 150 wall balls, not 100, they weren't hitting the target right. I cannot say one thing. I watched a lot of wall balls. I had a lot of clients there. I did it myself. If you hit that wall ball target at the right spot and you did the squat that was meant to be down to hip crease, it was a rep. End of story. So I've only got positive things to say about that. I thought it was really, really good.
You didn't think it was a very narrow aperture? Because that's what people's complaints were before. You had to hit it right in a certain spot.
Unless I did 100 and I hit it in the right spot, I had no issues with it.
I think that they may have expanded that area because I was watching clips from some of the pros at the end. I think it was the doubles, and seeing where they were hitting the target, and it was nowhere near as exact as what it had been in the past, like the first couple times they rolled out. So maybe they've increased the sensor size area.
With the sensitivity, is there not something that the sensitivity has changed? You can turn down up the sensitivity depending on who's there, isn't it? There's something in it, isn't there, in the technology?
I'm not privy. Maybe I can let you know after this weekend. But right now, I'm not sure that. But it sure does seem like it. It sure does seem like it was a little more forgiving on this time than in the past.
So you're saying you've coached all the people you coached, same thing. None of them complained.
No, absolutely unbelievable. But again, I have seen the comments. I've seen the comments, people complaining. But no, they had a great experience, and I probably had 40 athletes there, so not one person had anything to say. It actually just all positive. So
I do have a question about the wall ball judging though, and this I saw in a comment, and it was they found that the judges did not speak to the competitors as much, like they were more aback. And did you find that the situation? Because this is something that I've always been a believer in, like in all these races, the judges, they need to be there to communicate with you. Because yes, for the elites, we need to be on the mark for judging, but for everybody else, like the people trying to get their way through it, just they need that encouragement. That, like, as a guy who's judged a ton, so often I'm part of people's memories, helping them get through that last station, that last zone to get home. And I've heard that might have been missing on this one.
Yeah, there's certain people, but I think that's, look, I've done, as I said, I've done a few races. That comes down to the personality of the poor judge that stood there.
Yeah.
That judge could have been there for 8 hours, 7 hours or 6 hours. That becomes mind-numbing to maybe somebody who's just not that enthusiastic to be there. Maybe they just the free ticket to be, where I've had some unbelievable experiences. I've had terrible experiences with wall ball judges in Spain, for example. But again, yeah, I think it comes down to the competitor, and maybe people like me, I don't really want them to say anything. I don't really care, but I do get what you mean. There is that. For example, I have a 60-year-old woman there who really struggles with wall balls, and I went and got the head judge, and I go, mate, do me a favor, get her through this. So I do get what you're saying, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
See, I feel
we need more power, Captain. Did you ever say that?
Right, that's right.
We've got to get her through. We need more power, Captain.
So I found that, like, if somebody like you, if I was judging you, right, I'm not going to be like patting you on the back and giving you attaboys and all that stuff. But I am going to be giving you information.
Yeah.
For two reasons. One, I think it helps you as an athlete to have all the information. And three, it keeps me honest, right? It helps me to not forget where I am. It helps me to stay in the game, to stay in the moment. If I'm counting out for you out loud, if I'm involved in the process, that makes me a better judge because I can stay on. And that's why I like to see the judges stay involved, whether it's encouragement or just being present in the moment. And I think that's super important. And I don't want to see HYROX lose that, because I think it's so valuable to, I'm going to say like a 70% of the athlete's experience.
Yeah. I think that comes from maybe coaching well, though, because you do have that enthusiasm, that kind of understanding, where I think sometimes these volunteers, and they did an amazing job at the weekend. They may not have that background and that understanding, that experience of maybe CrossFit, for example, who do it really, really well. I've done many CrossFit comps as well, and CrossFit just seems to be done differently. You've got the judge screaming at you throughout, and it is quite encouraging.
Now it's interesting, because when you do the CrossFit course, you're not supposed to be involved.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's different, but I'm with you. And it's probably at different levels. We're talking like a local comp compared to like a semifinal game level, right? Where I'm sure the atmosphere changes. But anyway, that was my question, because I had heard that the judges were a little more distant, and I think if they're going that way, that's a mistake.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, but see, I feel like it's also like when I get to the wall balls, I'll be like, hey, can you count every 10?
Mm-hmm.
Or can you count every 5? Like I'll communicate. So, and then if they're not saying it, I'm like, can you speak up? Like, I know you've, like, some people don't want to stop and talk at all. I'm just saying that's what I do. Like, ask for what you need. You know what I'm saying? So if you, like, the guy never counted, it's like, well, did you ever ask him to? If you never did, he's just sitting there clicking away, he or she, right? Sorry, I'm trying to share the link on our stories here.
All right. Yeah. So other than that, you say there was the issue with the getting in. I did hear, again, crowding. Probably, I mean, I've said this before, probably oversold for day to day. And you guys seem to deal with this more than anybody, because this is a small venue, right?
Yeah, completely. I think there's definitely been a difference between the November event in Manchester and this event in Manchester. That they didn't have the same feel. They just didn't. I felt that in November.
They didn't have the same what?
Have the same feel. They just didn't. I felt in November there was less tickets sold. And I think the run track proved that, because even us going out in the pro so late at night with a half an hour window between when the doubles had finished, it just felt crowded. The spectators areas, they look crowded. I don't know, did they sell too many spectator tickets or what exactly? It just didn't have the same feel. It really, really didn't. It felt there was no fluency to racing. It just felt like all you were doing is weaving in and out. And early, you can look at my own Instagram, you can see I navigated through a couple of spectators as they were crossing the track. It just didn't. But I'm not the only one saying this. It just didn't.
No, but it's the same place. It was the same place.
Yeah.
So, and again, we can't tell how many more or less we had since last time because we can't see the whole numbers.
I do know for a fact, because this come from the HYROX guys themselves on the day, because I changed my name of the ticket and the girls said it to us, that they took less people on. So they had the same issue with Dublin, because Dublin 2 years ago was the biggest mess of all time, and they brushed that under the carpet. Now, behind the scenes, they admitted it was a mess. The venue was not fit for purpose. It's too small.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I think HYROX is just outgrowing Manchester. It's a beautiful venue. It's got all the attributes for lovely pictures and things like that. But you can't put 4,000 to 5,000 athletes per day in that venue.
Well, and maybe that's the key there is you're not really outgrown it, but if that's the place and there's a desire for it, just cap it at 3,000, 2,800 or whatever, make it and go from there. And I think that has to happen in some other places, because this is becoming more common.
November was great. This was it just felt busy. It just felt busy. I know there's people probably on the live stream going to disagree with me, but it's honestly, if you everyone will say it. It just felt overcrowded. That's what it felt like. Whether they sold too many spectator tickets, I really don't know which way it was, but it just didn't feel the same as November. The November.
So in November, it said we have 5,200
for how many day event? A 1 day event?
No, I think that was a 2-dayer last week.
So that seems to make sense to me. Generally, from what I'm seeing, is anytime they go over 3,000 for a day, it seems to go a little sideways.
Maybe not in Birmingham and in the London XL Centre. They're as big as what you guys have in the States.
Yeah, because London had 14,000 this last one in November.
Problem, and there was no issues there. Trust me, the spectator issues. It's so big.
Birmingham was 13,000.
But that again, I've done that one as well. There's no issues with that. It's brilliant.
That's the NEC, right?
Phenomenal.
And so how would you compare the Manchester building to the NEC? Tiny compared to it?
No comparison.
Yeah, I think they got to figure it out, because I think the only way for them to find out is when it's too many. Like, oh, okay, that one sucked. We had the feedback, the QR, the P scores, whatever they call, came back too negative, and we're gonna have to, again, in America, we are unlimited on these massive convention centers, and you guys just don't have that over there.
Like Ireland, that's the issue we have in Ireland as well. There is outside of the RDS, which is too small. It's not fit for purpose.
What's Glasgow going to be like?
Well, Glasgow's a bigger. It's not the nicest run track in the world, but it's a big enough convention center.
Is it like NEC?
It'll be similar, a little bit similar. The NEC is like a big 2-lap course, like you guys have in the States. It's lovely. In London, exactly the same. So Glasgow will be a little bit less fluent, but it'll be okay. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I will be in Glasgow, Michael. Will you be there?
I'll be there. Yeah, there from the Thursday. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we got a lot to talk about, including big HYROX preview for Vegas. Anything else on Manchester, Dave, before we let Michael go?
Well, I just had two questions. One, if he ran into these issues, and these are things that we hear before. I hear a lot of the track. I hear about people getting run over by the faster waves. And my first comment is, yes, that's horrible. But my second comment is, where were you on the track when you got run over? And were you leaving the inside lane free, or were you, because the inside lane is not, contrary to popular belief, it's not a fast lane. It's a passing lane.
Yeah. Where
you're supposed to pass, not supposed to hang out. So I comment, did you see a lot of that being an issue?
I didn't see it. It was in the, again, from what the feedback I got was, it was the pro doubles men afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is not the first time this has happened, where HYROX did this in the London Olympia event last year, and I'm not going to say, I don't know how to describe it, but who made the decision to put open women before doubles men is not a good call.
Yes.
Not a good call for the female experience, because they're out there trying, and the first heat is generally the fastest lads, and we're going to go out there like trains, because we're there to compete as well. It is our experience as well. And unfortunately, a lot of women got knocked to the ground.
Yeah.
A lot of. So again, it's looking at, and yeah, you're right, from the feedback that actually these people got knocked down, not in the overtaken lane. It was actually, they were staying out of the way, minding their, and they still got knocked over. But that it did happen.
Yeah.
But it was, they're on track, even that late, so yeah.
So that was always something that just another thing that I see a lot of, and I think that needs to be fixed, because obviously it presents a danger. So
it does. Yeah. Just thinking about I don't know. It's just a simple thing. Thinking about who's coming after who. I've asked Christian, why can the pro men not go first? Let us set it up the night before. Let us all loose, and then start taking weights off all day. Easier for the spectators. It's easier for the volunteers to I call it like drop setting all day.
Yep.
Adding on. Let us go first. Now his argument, and it's not an argument, it was a great discussion we had for about 40 minutes. It's that having doubles of some kind of a morning creates more atmosphere in the arena. And it's hard to disagree with it. It does, because it's an atmosphere sport.
Ambulances create a worse atmosphere.
Sorry?
Ambulances create a worse atmosphere. Just saying.
That's true too. But I would love to now and again maybe see pro men go first, and let us loose and let us, get out of the way.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Thanks for coming on, especially I know it's late over there. We'll chat between now. Tell people where to find you, Michael, on Instagram.
The Irish fitness guy. Very original.
Brilliant. All right, man. Take care.
Nice
Thanks.
meeting you, Mike.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, look who's joined us. Chris Rogloski. The real question is, when will HYROX America figure out 2-day events? That's a great question, Chris Rogloski. Yeah, so got the word yesterday that they're doing that thing where instead of putting all of the men on, say, Monday and all the day one and then all the women on day two or whatever it is that we do when they break these up, they're doing it. They're repeating both days exactly the same and having one set of awards. Now in Toronto, it made sense because a second day was added.
Yeah.
In this case, I was checking my posts, and on August, I think it was 12th, was when it was announced of when the Vegas weekend would be. Where it said, here's when the tickets are going on. It was like, here, the first post was the Friday night will be the Elite 15, Saturday is the race. And then tickets go on sale in 2 days. And then a week later, it was 2 days were available. So it seems like they could have gotten ahead of this one.
Yeah, and even when they did Toronto, I mean, the big argument we had was we said, okay, we'll make 2 days worth of awards. I don't understand why you think, like, I know a lot of people, if I was racing on Saturday, like I'm going to Vegas, and if I was racing on Saturday, chances are I'd be flying home Sunday, so I could be back home for work on Monday. I wouldn't want to stick around to wait for awards. I don't understand.
But see, I do understand because they're giving away world spots, and if they're gonna say, well, we only have so many world spots for this weekend, and this is how many we're gonna do.
Yeah, so put everybody in one category on one day.
Right.
Yeah, it's simple. I don't understand why. Here's the thing. I like to trying to find out the whys. I do not know the why, and I've not been able to come up with a legitimate reason in my head as to why it makes sense to do it on a pre-planned 2-day event the way they're doing it.
Yeah, all I can think is that maybe they had sold the the affiliates did all get the ahead of time, and so they kind of couldn't. I don't know. I also heard back from my timing guy, and I'm gonna find out more. Somebody that I know that's does not work at HYROX but does work in timing and just knows a little bit.
Yeah, and Cheryl's right. Two banners, one qualification. We went through this before, where even if you have the 2 days, great, 2 different podiums for each day, and if it's one qualification spot, the top time gets it. It's not a hard thing to sort out.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right, because how much, like, print a couple more flags? It's not that hard. You're right, exactly.
You're bringing in a lot of money, and I know it's an expensive event to run. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I understand
now, and what their argument, what I think their argument is going to be is, listen, starting 25-26 season, there is no more 1-day America events. Don't worry about it. It won't ever have this problem again. But we could if they go 2 to 3 days, maybe.
Yeah. I don't like that whole we'll never have this problem again, because things fluctuate, things change. You might go to a new market and it might only present itself with a one-day event for that one. So you got to change. Like, I like to have things in a row.
And did you say you are coming to Vegas, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you racing?
Just doubles open. Well, I guess there's only one mixed doubles, so mixed doubles with my wife.
Okay, what are you judging?
Yes.
What day are you judging?
Friday.
Okay. Oh, at the Elite 15.
Yes.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well,
I should say I'm supposed to be. You never know, things change, but as far as I know, I am.
So when is? Do you know what time you're racing?
I don't have a clue. Sunday. I'm racing on Sunday, so I don't know what time. I think if I look at it, you have that roundabout kind of from noon to 3 p.m. deal, as it where I'm guessing.
Mixed doubles noon to 13:20.
Okay, there you
So
go.
if you're really lucky, you might be in the same heat as Cheryl and I.
I hope so. This is
That
gonna
won't
be.
that won't that
There's
be
a
a hoot?
lot of cool people going in that mixed doubles. That's
Won't
gonna
that
be a
be a
lot of fun.
hoot?
It will be.
Um,
Do we have a bet on it?
all right, sure.
I don't care. It's up to you. Whatever you.
I mean, can I make my excuse that I've been at less than 100% for the last week? I haven't worked out in 10 days, Dave.
See, you're doing good. You're a great racer now. You've already got the pre-race excuses going. You're working it. You're doing great.
Right.
But you have multi-time world champion Cheryl Snow dragging you along.
I know. Plus, I've got my own. I've got my own flag, right? I mean, I am a flag. I am a flag holder.
Compared to me and Riley, who are flagless.
You're flagless?
We are flagless.
I don't want to live in a world where you and Ryan are flagless.
We are flagless, 100%. Give us another year when we age up, and maybe we got a shot then.
All right. Well, I speaking of Vegas, I do have a treat I want to share with you. Okay. Hang on, if I can find it. What was I was going to ask you? No, he's coughing. This is the good kind. This is the everything's coming up kind. Dave, I got to tell you, I went to the doctor after like 4 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And was like, okay, test me, whatever. Like, yep, you got the flu. Here's these pills. I wake up the next day. This was day 5 or 6. And it was like, okay, I'm back. I'm not just like this all day in bed, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to exercise today. I'm not going to push it. And then I woke up the next day and felt worse. Now, I don't know what that is, how that's possible. But I went back down, and it's been a rough, it sucks, dude.
I don't get sick like that because I'm a manly man.
I'm a manly man. and people were always just like I remember like I know people and they're like, yeah, I got little kids and they're always bringing back colds. And I'm just like, I don't get colds. I don't get sick. I'm good. But 2 out of the last 3 years, this flu has kicked my ass. So anyway, I'm happy. I was worried. I was like, honey, if I'm not better by next week, I can't go. And then I had a weird touch of it in Chicago as well. I was laid out for a couple of days. That was more of a what do you call it? Stomach thing. But what did I just say I was doing? Hang on one second.
I don't know.
You can answer questions. You can answer questions on the chat while I find this.
Oh, okay. He's doing something. So Cheryl, I just apologize that you have to run with Matt. That's got to suck. But I appreciate your charitable nature to do so. It's nice of you. Brian, will be epic to watch, Cheryl. It will be. Chris did ask the question: when will HYROX figure out the 2-day events?
Yeah, so we answered that, or we tried to answer that.
Did we think like we didn't actually say when they will figure it out? I don't think they will, because I think they do the things the way they do. They're gonna keep doing them. Yeah. We never saw what TT Sports there. She said the same thing happened in Amsterdam. You know the other thing we didn't ask him about that I saw in the comments?
What was that?
Was people having to line up for wall balls again.
I thought it was interesting that he didn't have a single friend of his or whatever. I thought it would be more 50-50. Like some people had issues with the wall ball, some people didn't.
Well, he was talking about the targets. And I think the targets ran pretty well from what I've seen, which is an improvement from before, because I know there were issues before. Oh, is this the map?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Does it make sense?
It actually looks like a perfect little circle. Whee! And we've got almost an order.
And we're running to the left, so Bethany will be excited.
We've got 1, and then wall balls, and then everything else. And plus, it's like a nice. It's not one of these crazy like flux capacitors I've seen in some of these Singapore venues. It's a nice little.
Did you see
round
that
course.
one that looked like a Formula One track? Like I don't know what was going on with that one.
Lots of chicanes and chicanery.
Yeah.
But here's
so the big yellow spot there. I assume that's the track crossing, which means they're going to have that big kind of that floodgate thing where they push you off to one side and then push you off the other. That can be great if it's run right and terrible if it's not.
Well, here's something that's really cool though.
Where are the wall balls? Why are the wall balls there?
So they can be by the big grandstand there. That's where they put the grandstand.
Yeah, normally they're in the middle as of late, but now it's.
I like this. I like this as close to we can as get it, minus wall balls. But here's what I really like, and I'm not sure if you can tell, but if you look in here, this is the relay. Instead of it being in the middle, it's actually in the start chute.
Okay.
I don't know why they don't always do that, or maybe they finally figured that out. Maybe I saw Brian the Ginger on the chat. Maybe he has insight into that, but I'm gonna hold it up. See?
Yeah, yeah. So I haven't got a ton of experience with the relay and the setups. I was not impressed with the way the Toronto one was done, but that looks much smarter.
Yeah. Usually we're like somewhere here in the middle, and
Yeah.
you kind of wait, and it's a big kind of a cluster because not all the teammates are supposed to be there, but they all do because they're just all excited. So this looks like we're gonna gather here. So you're gonna go out and then come back and then essentially start again, which makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and what I assume it's what kind of 2 and a bit laps, almost 3 full laps.
Should out and in be switched? Cheryl just said.
Yeah.
For the relay or for the whole thing?
On the rock zone.
I don't know.
2 lap.
I'll have to speak with my source who sent me this. Marcus is saying a 2-lap farmers.
He says it looks like it.
Again, can we tell? Is this drawn to scale?
If you can, I don't know if you can zoom in on that or not. I don't know if you got that capability. Yeah, it does look like for that distance. Okay. So go back. Yeah. I think it is. That little arrow on the end.
Yeah, it says 2 laps. It does say 2 laps.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't done one of those yet. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think it has potential to cause a lot of mistakes, but it probably has caused less than we think it would.
Right. So here's the relay transition, and makes sense. Again, I don't know why they. It's, by the way, it's the Red Bull start tunnel, not just the start tunnel.
So okay, hold on. You go in, and then you cross. Okay, and but so where do you hand off to your teammate if you go
right
in
here?
There, yeah,
relay.
no,
So all the guys are hanging out in here.
I know, but when you run in, that means you either have to cross the out track to go in to find your teammate.
Run in.
Yeah. Now, where do you go to find your teammate?
Your teammate's standing right here with his hand out.
Yeah, on the other side of the out. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like their arm is out, and then they're going to slap you 5 and go right out here as you go back in.
I understand the concept, but what's going to happen is you're going to have people go in the in and then have to run backwards on the out to find people further back there.
No, they're not. No. You pass. Have you done a relay before?
I have, and I've watched it work, and that's exactly what happened.
You pass them.
I know. I've watched it work, and this is set up to do the same thing.
I think I like this a lot better because now you can hang out over here instead of
Oh no, I like the positioning of it. I'm just saying the actual in and out is something that I might adjust a bit if I had my way.
All right.
Because right now I think there's going to be a little crisscross.
I think it looks better than it ever has before. Okay. I can't wait.
Like I said, positioning is great. I like the positioning.
Okay.
And look at grandstands. I'm surprised that the sled push isn't a little over and you have the grandstands on both sides of the wall balls. But that's all right.
Say that again?
Well, I'm surprised that they don't have grandstands on both sides of the wall balls. Instead, they have it on the one part of the sled push there. Right?
Yeah, but again, like it doesn't. I still don't know why you can't do this exact same thing.
I know why it's like that. Because where the sled push is going to be the grid.
Right.
So
right.
that's why that grandstand's
right.
There. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So here's your Elite 15.
Yeah.
Good call.
Be where it all happens. All right. Okay, no, it's good. I like it. It's a decent map. Yeah.
It's all about spacing, Brian. Brian says. Brian, but why can't we always do that, Brian? Why can't you always make it? Because the relays at the end of the day, there are no other starting things. Why not always put it there?
Well, that wouldn't have worked in Toronto.
Why not?
And so you're saying come back just because of where the positioning, the gate was on the inside of the track. I suppose it maybe, yeah. You
could always make the in out. I'm sorry, the starting corral.
Yeah.
Again, just a place to keep people, just because it keeps you out of the way.
The biggest thing I didn't like in the relay thing was that everybody was kept out of the way as a mob, when I thought it could have been nice and lined up very evenly and organized. But
well, I mean, again, it's supposed to be only be here, only the people, but people kind of stick their whole team there because you want to be near your team and it's exciting. And
that's right. That's why I think they should organize it so that is the way people can do it, so that their whole team can stand as a team in a line in a row.
But if it's a ton of relay teams, how do you do that? Where are they all going to fit?
Oh, if you can fit one of each member of the team on the line, then you can fit 3 people behind them. I would need to draw it up for you. Trust me, it's doable.
Okay. All right. Let's start talking about the big doings. How about the big doings in Vegas? You want to talk about the big doings?
Yes, the big doings.
Stop sharing. All right, so let's go to Instagram.
Talk about Sporty's time. No, what? I don't even know Sporty's time. I imagine it was very fast. He's a CrossFitter.
Spin. If you want to know how Sporty Beth did, you can look her up.
But you have to know her last name.
Well, we did solve that problem. We did find out her. By the way, fucking Spin. Do you hear that shit? Well, Hybrid Fitness, whatever his name is. I mean, trying to big time me, motherfucker. After I show you how to work this fancy new leaderboard that nobody can figure out, and then you dare to say Hybrid Fitness, whatever his name is. Here's the big doings. Instagram, HYROX America.
Blistering speed. I think the sandbag is back and forth, not multiple laps, but I could be mistaken. What are you looking for, Matt?
I'm looking for Instagram. I found it.
There you go.
What's up, Houston, Texas 94? He always joins us. Way to go. Thanks, buddy. Okay. The Welcome Mixer.
Oh.
Thursday, January 30th, 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and say too late. I do not stay up that late.
Yeah, I think the HYROX crowd is a later crowd.
Not the night before they race, typically.
I don't know. They seem to be, hipper than you, Matt. And
okay.
Me.
Well, there's an outside chance I make that, but I will definitely make this the community run and meet the pros hosted by Puma. So it looks like, I think Meg will be there. I think Hunter will be there. I think the same Puma athletes that they had in New York will be there. So that's Chandler and Jesse Smith. I will be there. Cheryl will be there. So come join us.
What time is this event?
This says 9 a.m.
What day?
Friday.
No. I'll be landing
at the Puma flagship store.
Ooh. There you go. And that's the same spot for early registration, right?
Early registration is, yes, also at the flagship store.
I don't want any part of that.
Early registration?
No, just to be a sea of people.
Well, I think it'll be a good time. I think they're going to do like a little Q&A thing, all full of fun stuff.
There you go.
Hang on.
But Matt, that's what you're for. You're the Q&A. You're supposed to ask you now so that they don't have to mob mentality.
So there's the Puma flagship.
It's a lovely store.
Here is where we're going to be racing, up here. It's in only an hour if you're walking, Dave.
Joy. How's the parking?
At the flagship store?
Yeah.
I don't know. This looks. Ask Cheryl would know this.
It's big for me. Parking's important.
Are you going to rent a car, Dave? Vegas is pretty small. You can just Uber it.
Yeah, but I want to go out of town too.
Where are you going to go?
A Red Rock Canyon thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've only been to Vegas once, but I loved all the outskirts there. Like when I was there for WTM, I loved it, but it wasn't so much the strip that I liked. I liked all the outskirts. Like beautiful. I'd never been to the desert, and I just loved it out there. It was fantastic.
This can't be right. John Young did not take over 2 hours, did he, to do his HYROX? That can't be
I don't
true.
think John Young's ever done a HYROX.
He was talking about it. I was half listening to their show yesterday.
No.
I think he did a relay maybe, or maybe he did a doubles. So anyway, so some big doings. That'll be cool. I'll go check that out. And then what was next on my agenda?
Hold on, Matt. That means you have a faster time than John Young as well.
Yeah, Sure. I have no bone to pick with Sporty Beth. The guys at Spin clearly do. I do not. We've chatted a couple of times. She's fine by me.
No, I think their deal is she's come down quite a bit on HYROX in the community, and specifically them, and they're all rebuttaling back and forth. I don't have a side in a stake in that game either, but that's been kind of my observation is, I would see that's probably why they have a problem with her.
Well, she said some not nice things about Savan, and so then Savan and his whole crew just went bananas on her. So that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just silly for me that they spend time doing that. But
yeah, see, Cheryl's right. Outskirts are amazing.
I'm sure they are.
You need a car. You know what I'm going to do actually is I'm not even going to rent a car. I'm going to rent a U-Haul.
And then what are you going to put in the U-Haul?
It doesn't matter. It's just way cheaper to rent a U-Haul truck than it is to rent a car.
Is that true?
If you're not going a very far distance, yes.
Okay. Well, it doesn't count then if he's only done one as a gym workout. It doesn't even count.
No.
We don't count Sims around here.
No. That's why the world record's been broken 18 million times at Sims. It means absolutely nothing.
All right, Dave. Would you like to talk about who's going to Vegas?
I would like to. I don't have a ton of information about said thing.
Let's go ahead and say that I'm 99% correct because I've posted it. Nobody in that group said I'm definitely not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to a lot of people individually, but those I couldn't get a hold of, I put my best guess, and nobody said that's wrong. I'm not going to be there.
Okay.
So,
all right, I'm fairly confident on the women's side that it's not gone past, roll down hasn't gone past 18. Enterprise cars are very cheap in Vegas. Thank you, Chris. I will take a look.
Chris travels a lot. I would take her word for it.
Yeah, I'll take a look for sure.
Maybe I'll take a look. Because I was just gonna cab it or Uber it from the hotel to the I'm staying at Circus, world famous Circus, which is less than a mile. So I plan on walking or Ubering every day.
I likes to drive. As much as
Cheryl, I think, might pick me up and take me to the meet and greet though, maybe. Why is HYROX info for big events ass? That sounds like something that my son River would say. It's
a solid question.
Why is HYROX info for big events ass? Is it for small events better? Is that what he's saying?
I'm assuming that he can tolerate it for small events, but for big events, he believes they should step up their game.
We might not know who's racing, but nobody knows which day. That's a great point.
Yeah.
So let's pull up the names that I surmised, Dave.
Okay.
Do you have your spreadsheet ready?
No, they've stolen all my information.
Aren't you the Jack Bauer of this group? You pull up all the stuff?
No.
Or is that me?
No, that was Anthony. I am the purveyor of unsolicited opinions.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, I have to pull up my post then.
All right. Well, I think it's more of a thing where you can talk about who's not going to be there because it's a smaller list.
Well, Meg is still coming back from injury. Yes.
Yes, but she will be on hand.
But she will be there, as we discussed at the Big Puma event.
Yes. I'm happy to see Meg. I'm excited to see her.
I will be too. Who else not there before we get into who is there?
Other ones, I'm not sure for the big ones.
You just said, let's talk about who's not there. And then you don't know.
You had your list. So who, because I was thinking, on the roll down for the women's, from what I understand, is I think it went down to 18 because I heard,
Jess is 15, Camilla is 14. That's what I have.
Yeah. So there you go, Jess and Camilla. Will Camilla have a bounce back? Because she's had some rough races.
That's a great question.
That's why I asked you.
Sure. I say Camilla has a great race. Why not? How about we get our first look at Joanna? I think that's going to be exciting.
I think it will be. I think the travel might hit Joanna this time.
She's probably already here, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
These pro athletes, man, they're getting ahead of it. They're getting days and days in advance.
Yeah, well, I know that I know JK is here or there. But
no, JK is definitely here already because I messaged him. Try to get him to come on the show. He said, I'm not coming on before I race. I said, fine.
It's interesting to think, like you say, the pro racers and stuff, but that enough people are making enough money to make it worthwhile. Because I mean, the prize money is something, but it's not a ton, right? And to think that how they're coming ahead so far, so much in travel and accommodations and whatnot and food and that. So I mean, they must be getting some good sponsors, which is great for the sport.
Well, we know that a Mazfit or a Mazfit signed Meg as well. She had her big Puma deal. And then did they also sign Hunter? I think they also signed Hunter. And then if you look at Lucy and Joanna, they're also with Backlund, which is Snorri's company, which is the one that has Meg and Hunter. So I don't know how much money they're making, but if you're a young lady like Lucy here, you can probably do pretty well. You don't have that many expenses.
So go back to your list here and read off your list of the women.
Okay.
And Shiz says mentioned the Proven collab is good. I'm so happy for JK getting on that. That is very exciting. I look for. I don't know. I mean, I'm not one to get the program, but I'm interested to see how it goes. That's getting the list. He's checking it twice. All right. So who do you got?
So Lauren, Vivian, Viola, Linda, Joanna, Lauren Griffith, Kate Davey, Lucy Proctor, Amy Belvalacqua. This is a lot of foreigners. Zara Piagiani, Yana, Sika, Jade, Camilla, Jess. So Americans is only, let's see, 1, 2, holy coly, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the 15 are American. Did you realize that, Dave?
You counted Camilla as American as well, didn't you?
Because Camilla lives in America.
But technically, you could argue she races under the Italian flag.
I'm going to say people, U.S.-based athletes, 5. Actually, Jess is 2. Sorry, Jess is 2.
Is this, in fact, an international conspiracy to keep more North American women out of the race?
I think it's amazing how far the sport has come. This is not what the top 15 looked like last year.
It's always had a very international thing.
No, I know, but I'm saying this is a different Elite 15 than whatever the second major was last year.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see Vivian back out there. That's someone I'm looking forward to watching. I haven't seen Vivian race in a while, and I'm really looking forward to. I've always root for Vivian. I'm a big fan, and I want to see her go out there and have a great race.
I mean, if you look at the top 8, the top 8 are phenomenal.
Of course they are, yeah. And they're getting closer and closer. Like you're going to have in that race there, you have your definitive favorites, right? You know, you've got Lauren, you've got Joanna, who are probably very much high-end favorite. But then after that, it really, I mean, I could see Camilla having a bounce back and coming third. It is possible. That after the first 2, that race is wide open. Matt is just playing with circles.
No, I'm just thinking about what spots get you into Worlds?
Well, it's the top 3 provided they have not already qualified. So in this list, you have who's already qualified. Joanna, Lauren, who else is in there?
Have Vivian or Viola?
Not Vivian, not Viola. I think Kate Davey, just missed out. We'd have to go back.
I can't even look, by the way, can I?
Yeah, because we can't see the back results from
because they fucked it up.
Yeah. And
so far, Lauren, Meg, and Joanna are the only ones in.
That can't be right. There should be six women qualified for Worlds already.
How many majors have we had?
2. 3 from each one.
What was the second one?
Hong Kong.
Oh, that's right.
Right. So Amsterdam was
Amsterdam was Lauren, Megan, Joanna, 1, 2, 3. What was Hong Kong?
Right. Hong Kong was Joanna, then Lauren, and then the next three after that are who got in, and that's where I'm having.
You're making me do all the work, Dave.
Well, this is your job. You were the producer. That's your gig, man. This is your show. I'm just here because I had a HYROX shirt. That's it. I think Kate Davies in. Yeah, Kate is in. Okay, everybody's with them. Kate's in. So who are the other two that are in?
I'm looking them up right now. Joanna, Lauren,
Ida.
Kate.
That's one. Good job, Ryan. Ida. So we need one more.
Lauren Griffith.
Lauren Griffith. There they are. Okay. So in this race, Lauren's qualified, and Joanna's qualified. So let's just, for argument's sake, say that was the podium. The next three would qualify. So when you're doing this, thanks, Marcus. It's mostly Matt, not me. No, but so if you're
HYROX should have this spelled out. I know, Cheryl, but we can't see the damn site. That's the problem.
They did have it spelled out. They took it away. So if you're looking at this, Matt, so if you're looking at this and you're picking your top three, so do that.
I'm confused, Dave. I'm too confused. Okay.
All you need to do is pick who you think's going to finish
Just
first.
Can I get a sheet of paper out?
Yes, you are allowed to use paper. This is an open book test.
Okay, so I'm going to open my notes.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I need a mic that does this so I can type and talk at the same time. First of all, I need a
one
mic
of these
stand.
bloody things. You insist on holding it in your hand. I don't know why. You're Matt on the street doing weather. You need your microphone in your hand. Get an arm. All right. We need to pick two things. We need to pick.
Wait, why am
three.
I in the street? Why am I in the street doing weather? Couldn't I be in the studio doing weather?
No, that's where everybody does the microphone in the hand on the street doing weather. Your hair is longer. It's blowing in the wind. It's
Marcus, do me a favor. Type into the comments right now the 6 that are already in, and then
no, it's Meg, Lauren, Joanna, Ida, Kate, and Lauren Griffith.
Okay, that's who's in right now.
Yes.
Okay, so that means if any of these 3 make it, we keep going down.
Correct. So that's why the first thing you do is you pick your podium of who you think can be 1, 2, 3.
Well, Lauren's definitely on the podium. Weeks is 100% on the podium.
Yes.
Okay, that's a fact. Probably a victory, correct?
Well, if you want, I can tell you mine. I can tell you mine right now.
Okay. Well, are you doing it just to be interesting, or are you going with what you actually think is going to happen?
I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to reasonable assumption it may happen.
Okay.
I'm going to go Lauren, Joanna, and Vivian.
Lauren, Joanna, Vivian.
Yes. And Vivian might be a little bit of a gut feeling.
Well, you like Vivian. It's hard to root against Vivian. So if
I like Lauren Griffith. I like a lot of people on that list. They're all.
So if that's the case, then Vivian and 5, 6 get in, correct?
Vivian would get in, yes, and 5, 6, provided that that's not Lauren Griffith or Meg's not in it, so Anita's not in it, right? So provided that Lauren Griffith is not 5th or 6th, or in that top part anywhere, then yes. So the next 3 who are not qualified would get in.
So the furthest possible would be what? 6th?
The furthest, I believe so. Yeah. Because you have 4 people in this that have qualified. You got to take 3. No, because Lauren's in it, Joanna's in it, Kate's in it, Lauren's in it. Okay, so 4 are in it that have qualification spots. So let's just say they finished the top 4. The next 3 could get in, so you could go as far as 7th.
And is this like the longest we've had? Because the previous majors, weren't there races like a couple weeks before leading into? Like, we haven't seen these people in a while, right? Because we had Christmas break.
We had Christmas break. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the longest, but it has felt like a long break.
Marcus is getting ahead on the men. Thanks, Marcus. We'll get there in a second, though.
It'll probably take longer than that. So you still got to pick your top 3. The math is baffling you, isn't it?
Well, I just feel like didn't Lucy do some amazing time lately?
Lucy's had some good times, yeah.
And so has Linda. Man, this is tough.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Lauren. Joanna is not going to be bothered by travel because she's probably already here and because she's young and malleable. I would love to pick Vivian as well. But for some reason I'm thinking like Lucy, Lucy's just on fire these days too.
Then pick Lucy.
Let's look at Lucy's time. Let's look at Lucy's times. Let's go to Lucy. Lucy.
All right. So in the process of picking Lucy, then what we have to look at is if we think that the podium is going to be what, for example, if I think it's going to be what it is, and I think that Vivian's going to get in, then I have to look at two other women that are going to get in which case I would think that would be Linda. And again, I can't really even read the list, but I think Linda is going to be one. So that's Linda, Vivian, and I'm going to go with Amy Bevilacqua. I think Zara, Viola, that's a good call, Marcus. That's not bad. Yeah, I always forget about Viola. Viola's friggin' amazing. Ooh, that's tough. Viola's good. I often root for Viola too. All right. Now I said it. I got to stick with it. I said Amy. I'm going with it.
All right, hang on. I got to fix this picture. I'm going to make it normal again.
You already have one? Okay, well, you have two now.
You have two now. What do you got? What do you got two of?
2 drinks.
Sweet. What you drinking? I can't read that.
Athletic Brew.
Oh, are they a sponsor of yours?
I am an ambassador.
Oh, really?
Yes. Drink Athletic Brew and then drive, even though I'm not supposed to say that.
Why aren't you supposed to say that if it's not alcohol?
I don't know. They just tell you they don't want you to say that. I'm specifically doing what they told me not to do.
Okay. Say it on your own show. Don't say it on this show.
Okay. All right. Drink Athletic Brew. Anyway, it's great. There you go.
All right. You want to go to the men?
You never picked who you think's going to make it yet.
I'm afraid, Dave. I'm just
afraid.
Why
are you afraid? Why are you so non-committal?
I like all these people. I don't know, man.
It's just
tough.
Anyone's feelings. Jeez.
Can I vote for Chris, even though she's not racing?
Oh, God. Just move on. Coward.
I think Chris is going to have a great race. No, I will say, subject to change, but I will give Lauren the win, Joanna the second, and I'm going to say young Lucy is going to come in third.
Okay. So there's one of your qualifiers.
And then the other two qualifiers would be Vivian. Yeesh.
I took Vivian, Amy, and Linda.
I'm going to go Vivian, Linda as the next two.
There we go. All right. Now you can go to the men.
And I'll be thrilled with any of you if you do well. But
Chris is always a good vote. Chris is
Dave
right.
is putting a gun to my head.
Damn right. You're supposed to be on here for the hot topics. You got to step up, man. You got to throw out the hot takes.
Listen, maybe my brain is not quite 100%. So here's what's crazy. The last time we were in Vegas, Chris won this gosh darn world championship in 2022 when HYROX was only this big.
Mm-hmm. But it's not just that she won. She shocked the world with her win.
She really did.
Yeah, she came from a roll down, if I'm not mistaken, and won and ran one of the smartest races we've seen.
Hang on, let's bring this up really quickly. Hang on.
And oftentimes her run is, or should say often, sometimes her run is overshadowed by Lauren Weeks' pregnant performance.
Yes, I do remember. That. Let's go.
Gotta get the men now.
Smooth. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo. If you're anything like me, sometimes my trees, bushes, and flowers take a back seat to my veggie garden. Not to mention
Chris is
lucky
a conspiracy theory to keep you out. They've done the entire system this way. That's the problem.
Station.
I think
So,
this might be the first
Dave,
race.
look at
It
Vegas from
matters
2
less,
years ago.
but you're right.
I know. Listen to that great
It's
commentary.
easy to say,
Very
"Oh,
intellectual,
he's
very
running at a pace," but I
intelligent.
don't think a lot of people quite understand exactly how fast he's going.
Fast is kind of a murky subject in HYROX.
But look at
It's
this.
just such
Look
a
how small the
massive
crowd
man.
is.
Oh, he's just a legit beast.
This is the World Championships. That's Sandy with
We are
dyed
coming
hair.
up here on the start of the women's race. And I think we'd be doing them a,
But look
a
how
disservice if
different
we didn't
this looks
spend a little bit
compared
of time
to,
here
you know,
previewing what about
can you
it
turn
is
down the-
exactly
Oh,
ready
sorry.
to go down.
But look how empty this looks compared to the World Championships the next year in Manchester or the next year in Nice.
Oh, it's not.
I mean, look at
it's
this.
It's not even the same product. I remember going. So this was something, and this was. I know you listen to Hiller or watch Hiller sometimes, but he got a hold of this broadcast, and I saw the episode where he did, and I was there going, "Oh my god, I am about to get tore up." And the only thing he said about the commentary was the commentary guys seemed to know their stuff okay. And that was it. I'm like, ooh, did we ever get off easy?
Was this a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Chris, Lone Weeks' performance was amazing. It was unbelievable.
I mean, but look at this. Look at this World Championship. So not a World Championship vibe.
And yet it still was a great vibe. Like
It was great. We had an amazing time. I remember it well.
Parade of Nations thing, and it was a great race.
That looks like Camilla on the left and pregnant Lauren on the right.
That's Linda Meyer running there. All right, cool. So now you're going to bring up the men. Slowly. Dramatically.
What do you mean you're boxed out again? I don't remember what that's from.
She's not in the race.
Oh. I'm rooting for you, Chris. You got my pick. Who else is coming down from Canada, Dave?
Oh, there's a whole herd. Tons of them. Sadly, I don't believe Maria is in. Well, obviously, we don't think Maria is in the Elite 15, which is disappointing. But she's still coming down, as far as I know.
Okay.
But yeah, just there's a whole whack of us coming down.
Okay. Six men are in. Ronk, JK, Tim Vinish, Graham Halliday, Pelayo. Ryland's already in?
Yeah, Ryland's in. He got in the first race.
Of that, only JK, Tim, and Pelayo are racing? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, I thought Ryland was on the fence.
Ryland is not racing.
No, I thought he was on the fence, but he might not be racing.
No, he posted
Did he post he was? Yeah.
a week ago that he wasn't.
So
And that he's
then-
living in the what do you call it? He's living in a van in a Walmart parking lot or something.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Didn't you see that?
No, but that's okay.
Ryan Reed's coming down from Canada.
That's right.
Let us know if you're watching this show right now and you're coming down from Canada. Canada.
Stephanie McChesney is coming from Canada.
What about Amber Tate?
I don't think Amber is, but I think Zach is.
What about
That's
I
it.
don't
You've
know who.
extended your list of Canadians now. You don't know anymore.
what about
I do know that Ryan Atkins is not racing in Vegas.
Samuel Hebert?
I honestly don't know. And I talked to Sam a little bit a while ago. I'm not sure if he's coming down or not. Or Austin. I think Austin might be overseas. I think Austin might be overseas still. So I'm not sure.
I think Austin's racing with Chris.
Is he racing with Chris? He's back? Okay. You never know, man. Austin travels more than anybody I've ever seen.
Okay, so let's pull up the men.
Yes.
Where do those names go? Where do those
You've
names
got
go?
rid of them. So JK, Tim, and Pelayo are
God, these fonts are horrible. I'm sorry. I was fucking around, but they're really annoying to look at. Let me fix these fonts.
Honestly, I'd rather see the names than the fonts.
You'd rather see what?
The names and the fonts. Good contingent from Edmonton coming, apparently. About 15 or so. Oh my God, that's awesome. You waving flags.
Are you okay with this font? Is it disturbing you, or is it just me?
Not in the least.
It's not bothering you?
Doesn't bother me at all.
Okay. Okay, so here we go.
Oh, Cheryl, you guys are toast. Cheryl's going to make you go out running a 4-minute kilometer on that first one, and you're just going to keel over.
How many miles per hour is that?
How many miles per hour is a 4-minute kilometer? That's probably like a low 6 mile.
All right. Nope.
Okay. So there you go. You've got Hunter, Ryan Kent, Dylan Scott, James Kelly, Paleo, Rich Ryan, Yannick, Tim, Sean Noble, Bo Willis, Joffrey Vozine, Jonathan Wynn, Jake, Harry Thompson, and the ever mighty Marcus Wallace. Or Devo, as I'm to understand he is called.
And of those, only JK, Tim, and Pelayo are already in.
Correct.
So Hunter needs to earn his spot.
Yes, he does. As
Do we
does
think he
Dylan.
will?
Yes.
Okay, let's just do it this way. Ryan Kent.
On this one, oh man, I love Ryan Kent, and I'm I you know what? Hopefully Ryan uses it as chalkboard material. I don't think he makes it this time.
Wow. Dylan.
Dylan, I think, gets in.
JK.
JK's already in.
So JK, then Pelayo, Rich Ryan.
Yeah, I think Rich gets it.
And
so that
then
would be my 3, I think, that are getting in.
Okay, so okay.
So that means, I'm not sure if Matt's frozen or if he's drifted off. He seems to be blinking. But so that means I think that Hunter, Dylan, and Rich Ryan will get the 3 qualifying spots from Vegas.
Who do you think wins this race?
Who do I think wins this race outright? JK.
It would be hard to pick against JK. Man, I wish Ronco was here to make it closer. But yeah, I think JK is having a pretty great season.
Oh, he's dialed in. He looks. I mean, it is easy to say that Ronkovic is the favorite when he's in the races now, but JK is every bit as good. And when he has lost to Ronkovic recently, it's not been by much. So yeah, I mean, JK did win their last head-to-head. Anyway, so yeah, JK, I'm definitely the odds-on favorite.
All right, I'm gonna go with, in this order, JK, Hunter. Man, I mean, I hate to be a homer, but I feel like the next 3 in some order are Dylan, Kent, and Rich. Does that make me just too much of a homer?
Well, I mean, I picked all North American guys for my 3 that I think are going to make it. I think they're good picks. I mean, you do have some guys that have put in some good times recently, but Rich has definitely put in one of the best. I think what is as a man is the 4th fastest man to ever put in a time. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I can't see the stats anymore, but I know it's something to that ilk.
Rich Ryan?
Yeah,
it was very, very suspect course, but okay.
Still was damn fast. Suspect. It may have been a quick course, but he was still damn fast. But I think that he's a legitimate pick. I mean, when you're talking about JK, Paleo already qualified, that takes them out of it. I don't think it's too much of a homerish. Is it a homerish? A little bit, but they are logical, defendable choices.
Okay, here's what I'm going with. I'm going with Hunter and Kent, both needing to have a good race, both needing a confidence boost, and I say they both get it. So, but fuck, that means I put I would say, man, this is tough. All right, here we go. Here's what I'm gonna do. Put myself out there. JK, Hunter, Dylan, Ryan, Rich. Those are
So
my.
you've got Hunter, Kent, and Rich Ryan getting the spots. And no, sorry. So you've got Dylan. You had him for you had J.K. Hunter. So
Right.
Hunter getting a spot. Then you had Dylan. That is Dylan getting a spot. And then was it Kent or Rich Ryan you had next?
Kent is due for a good race, so I'm gonna have Kent next. No, wait. What did I already say? J.K. Hunter, Dylan, 1, 2, 3, and then Ryan Kent, and then Rich Ryan, 4, 5.
Okay, so then you have Rich Ryan on the outside looking in as far as qual spots.
So Rich Ryan would not get a spot.
That's right. Whereas I have Rich Ryan getting a spot and Ryan Kent being sadly on the outside.
Okay, somebody write these down because I will forget. Dave, remind me what we made our picks when we come back on the show on Monday.
I'll mock you, don't worry. Either way, right or wrong, I'll make fun of you for it.
But yeah, I think this is going to be a good one, dude.
I think it'll be a great race. I think it'll be fantastic. I think the atmosphere will be awesome. Vegas is just a great spot to be for these. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, as we've discussed, they iron out a lot of these timing details and get things fixed up in time. I think the sensors will be okay. I hope that it's just there's a lot of things that need to go right that I think will go right. And I think the fact that so much went wrong in Manchester is actually going to help things go right in Vegas. You know what it's like, right? Because if those things didn't go wrong in Manchester, they would never be preparing for that event. So now they have to be prepared for it because they've seen it happen. You know, less likely to make that same mistake twice. So that's my reasoning for it's going to be okay.
When are you getting on a plane, Dave?
Friday morning.
Friday morning, what time?
I think 8 o'clock local time. I think we land in Vegas something around 10 o'clock local time.
And then we don't race until.
I don't race till Sunday.
No, the women go off at 6 local time.
Yes, that's 6 local time, and so it'll be exciting. I mean, I think they're the only ones running on Friday, right?
Yes.
No, but I mean, sometimes there are other races and make sure. But yeah, it's going to be a great race. It's going to be a good stream. I just think it's going to be excellent competition. Is there anyone that you're expecting? You seem to be expecting a good performance out of Lucy Proctor.
Yeah.
What about your boy Sean Noble? Which Sean Noble are you going to get?
I can't wait to find out.
Are you going to get the Sean Noble who takes extra steps on the lunges? Or are you going to get the Sean Noble who's a legitimate badass?
Listen, I'm looking forward to seeing Yannick and Sean and a lot of these guys that I haven't seen before. It's going to be exciting.
Because he's a mystery. He's a mystery. That guy's a talented athlete. But, again, the consistency of which one you're going to get can be interesting to say the least.
Listen, nothing. It's hard to ever really be surprised anymore when a guy pops off really quick time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think. Do you think which Hunter do we get? Do we get close to world caliber Hunter, or do we get just enough to qualify Hunter?
No, we get. Listen, I'm saying Hunter's due. Hunter's been licking his chops and he's ready to come back. And I don't think he beats JK, but I think he has a great race.
Is it possible that much like Worlds, someone like JK take him out too hot?
I don't think so. I think, I don't think so.
I don't think so because in Worlds, it was like a team effort to make him do that, right? Like Ronkovich and Sandy would not relent. It was one after the other, one after the other, one after the other.
Right, and we all know.
I don't see two people doing
right,
that.
And we all kind of knew they could do that, but now we know, right?
Yeah.
So all these guys have worked on what do I have to do to dial in my thing, and so I don't think that's going to be a problem.
I don't think it'll happen either, but I do think it's interesting that in this race, I believe a lot of the elite men will be going in worrying about JK and not about Hunter.
So what do you think that means, though?
I think it means that the field has caught up.
Oh, right. Yes. It's a different sport now. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was Hunter's game before, and now the field has caught up.
Right. JK currently kind of has the belt these days, as they say.
Yeah, and I mean, him and Ron could just boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Yeah. It depends on the day, right? So much, I mean, not the same dominance as Megan Lorne, but the same deal where it could depend on the day.
Right.
So, yeah. When do you get in there? Are you a Thursday or a Friday?
I'm getting in there Thursday. So I will not get up too early on Thursday, and then by like be ready to go Friday morning for the big what do you call it? Meet and greet and hoo-ha.
There is one other thing I'm really looking forward to.
Yes.
The like super hybrid engine relay team.
Oh, when's that?
For the relay.
Oh, but which day? Isn't there 2 days of relays?
I believe it's Sunday. I think it's Sunday. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's Sunday. But it's Lauren Weeks, Lauren Griffith, Kate Davey, and Zara as a four-woman relay team. And I think that's going to be lights out fast.
Well, if it's late on Sunday, I'll probably be gone by then.
See, I'm not leaving till Monday. Gonna stay till the end.
You're gonna end up getting everybody's awards for them then.
Then I won't be flagless.
You won't be flagless. No, I don't fly. I picked because I didn't know when Cheryl and I were racing. Cheryl and I really wanted to race, and we didn't know when. So I think I got like a 6 p.m. And I'm gonna race at like 2, so it'll still work out. But yeah, I kind of hate flying West Coast, but it'll be all right. I'll be happy when I get there.
Yeah.
I've been to Vegas a lot. We had World's Toughest there several years in a row.
That's where World's Toughest should still be.
No, why is that?
It went downhill after it left.
Oh, you think so?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think 2017 was the peak for World's Toughest.
I think you peaked in 2017, Dave.
That was when I was there.
No, you peaked as a human being. That's what I think.
Probably.
How dare you say that?
What, 2017 was the peak for WTM?
Yeah.
No. Think about it. That was when the obstacles were harder. The penalty loops were nasty hard, and they weren't goofy. You had Atkins putting in that amazing performance. You had Ray Coble coming out of nowhere and being dominant. It was the best,
All right. You could talk about that in your OCR show, Dave. This is a hybrid show.
I'm just saying. Vegas is great, though. I love Vegas.
All right. Let's wrap it up, Dave.
Okay. Ready to roll.
Go check out Dave and Bethany McChesney on the OFX podcast.
Yes.
Every Tuesday.
Thursday-ish.
Every Thursday.